Hi and welcome to Origami Bookworm. This will be my first video, so bear with me, I'm a bit nervous. For this video you are going to need your ribbon for decoration, and the first thing we're going to do is cut some off because you will need to use this before we attach the ribbon. I use tissue paper just for a nice edging and for the book to rest upon. Please excuse my book, it's not really ready and it shouldn't be wrapped quite so soon, but it's the only one I've got available at the moment. So you need your book, your tissue paper, your ribbon, your excess tie, and of course your cellophane. Make sure your area is clean because it does become very static, so it will pick up everything and anything that might have to be on the table. In my case I have a lot of glitter thanks to my daughter. Bless. Okay, so we've got a nice reel of cellophane. Ideally you want it on the roll rather than cutting it into pieces because it's not really the ideal situation to have pieces pre-cut because you don't really know how much you're going to use, and it's always better to have too much than not enough. Okay, so to start I always roll out a bit for myself, make sure I've got plenty to go, and I place my tissue paper where I think it's best placed. Positioning of the book, I always push it back about 1 inch or so that when I lift this up it gives it a nice edge, as you can see along here. This is nowhere near enough, so what I need to do is pull the book back and again pull the cellophane down. Excuse me, I've just got to move my chair. Okay, because ideally what I need to do is bring the book up. I want it to go over and down the back, so you know that your front face will have enough cellophane. Once this is done and you know that that position is correct, you pull your reel up and you work out how much you're going to need from the roll. You might find an easier way of doing it, but I find that this one works for me. Then you're going to grab your scissors because you now know where you're going to be coming from. Excuse me while I move around my table. Okay. Grab your scissors, take a cut and just leave the scissors halfway open. And then just slide the scissors straight along the cellophane, like so. You probably need to be a little bit taller than I am. There we go. Okay, so we now have our pre-cut cellophane in the position that we know we need it. So again, make sure everything is nice and flat and working out, and the book is best situated where it needs to be. So we want a nice flush face. We're going to pull the cellophane up nice and tight, fold the cellophane around, making sure that you grab the cellophane from the top. You're then going to crush the front onto the top back of the spine. Pull your pieces up, I'm sorry if you can't hear me through the cellophane, and ensuring that that front is always staying intact and flush. Again, pull around the other side like we've done with this, pulling up and making sure the cellophane is nice and taut. It doesn't matter how you scrunch this part up because that needs to be scrunched, ready to go. And if I can turn the book around without messing up, you can see you have a nice flush face, which ideally is what you want. Okay, so to finish off, you pull up the side, grab that with the thumb like so, and then start pulling around. Scrunching as you go because you really, really want it nice and tight. Don't worry about the book face at the moment, as you can see it's still protected. Pulling up and tying around. You might need a help just to assist the initial tie, but as you can see, not so much great at the back, but perfect for the front. You're going to grab your excess tie and you're going to come around the back and you're going to tie this one nice and tight, but please be warned, too tight does snap it, as my husband with his heavy hand found out. Okay, I do use my mouth, so I do apologise, but I do cut that bit off, so don't worry. So we've got a nice big tie. Come around and finish that one off, like so, and pull that nice and tight. You now have the pre-wrapped book with a nice inch of colour just to protect the front edges. And again, I'll cut off the part I have my mouth around, and you will be using these for the extra bit. Make sure your cellophane is positioned where you want it, and then you place your bow. So ideally you want to make sure that this is nice and flush and tight. You can get these either pre-made or you can actually buy them on the reel and make them yourself. I come around the front, pull up all of the bow to make sure that you've got none of the ravels there, otherwise you will lose it. And once they're creased, it's really hard to get them to uncrease nicely. So it might take you a few practices, or you might just get it on the first go. Practice makes perfect at the end of the day. Okay, so now we've got our nice pre-wrapped, and to finish off, all we're going to do is curl the bow. So you take the edge of the scissors and scratch around. I do find that the coloured ones are a little bit more difficult than the actual cream and the whites. I think it's only because of the dye used in the actual plastic. So there we go, nice finished piece, ready for its owner, for you to either hand deliver or for them to pick up. This is not how I would send them via post, so I will show you that one on the next video after this one. So there's your wrapped nice addition. Always make sure that this part is nice and tall, because if you have it too low then it really does look clumpy and it's not something that I would like to see on the shelf of a shop. So I imagine that my work is going into the shop, which actually this piece is. So I would like it to stand and be noticed for all, including the packaging. So there's my first video for Origami Bookworm. Thank you for joining me.